and thank you for tuning in to Dani Changg. So today we have 3 men from the GTA for the video, The Melanated Man. I really want to get the male perspective on relationships, media, and a lot of things that are going on right now. So I'll let you just quickly introduce yourself.
My name is Kheen. I'm the creative leader of Tomorrow Today. I do personal training with young boys. But it's more than just personal training. What we do is we try to empower them to be more self-aware, be more productive in the community, and also just try to find themselves. I'm also a photographer as well on the side. I've been doing photography for like 8 years, and I also do graphic design as well too.
My name is Dushane. I'm the owner of Powered by Fitness. That's about it.
Wes, aka Wes Hype, CEO, owner, operator of Juice Comedy, business consultant and brand manager for your favorite comedians.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. All right. So the first question I have for you guys is, what are 3 words that come to mind when I ask you to describe a black man? So anyone can answer that. Don't all jump in at once, So what are like 3 words that come to mind when you think of black man, in society,
I'll say, first of all, strong.
Okay.
That's for sure. Misunderstood.
100%.
Took mines.
I read your mind. I'd say strong, misunderstood, and trying to think of another positive one.
Hard work.
You can even say a negative one, because really what I'm trying to get at is, what do you think of, even if it's the misconceptions, you know what I mean? It's just like, what are 3 words that come to mind, Okay. So anyway, so what was the last one you said? You said
I stole Dushane's. I said hardworking.
Oh, hardworking.
We're a team effort.
Oh man, so Dushane's gonna have a hard time when it gets to him. Okay, so and why? Why did you choose those?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, it was a cross between what I feel society, how they view the black man. I guess if you just said how, in my opinion,
yes,
it's a little bit more difficult, because being a black man, you automatically just think of yourself. So it's almost like, what are the 3 words to describe myself, which would be different 3 words. But yeah, I picked those words. I guess like I said, a cross between what I feel is how society views it and what I know to be true.
I would say contradicting, just because there's a lot of guys who want to be seen in a positive light, but then on the low, they know what they're doing is wrong.
So hypocritical.
Hypocritical, yeah. I feel like we want to be looked as this, but we're still doing certain things that we know people would be frowned upon.
Right.
I think, and resilient for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
We take a lot of negative, but we turn it into a positive. A lot of black men are known for that. Trend setting, for sure. Have to put that in there.
That's for sure.
100%. That's just like black people on a whole. But and resilient is such a good word too, because as you said, they have to go through quite a lot in society, right? A lot of things often happen disproportionately to black men that are on the negative side. Like, more of them are in jail, more of them are suspended at a younger age, expelled, things like that, right?
Sure.
So resilient is definitely a good word, and especially for those men like yourselves that are able to rise above that and actually able to still pursue their dreams and their passions and things that they want to do. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. What about you, Kheen?
For me, it's unappreciated. A lot of black men are unappreciated versus the value that they bring, to society as a whole. I think a lot of us are misguided in some aspects. The same concept where you're saying hypocritical. Because they succumb to society's views and understandings, and they do the wrong things ultimately.
Like a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing.
Pretty much, if you want to look at it that way, yeah. And like you said, trend-setting, but we're very influential.
Oh yeah, it's going.
We're very influential as people, as black people as a whole, but as men, we're very influential. So those are 3 words that I can say describe black men.
Love it. Awesome. Thank you, guys. So the second question I have for you guys is, okay, so in light of recent media events, the Bill Cosbys, the R. Kellys, if you want to throw it way back, MJ, Michael Jackson, and all of the, allegations that were you know, put out against these 3 black males. You know, what's your take on it? And then, do you feel that it affects you? It's a loaded question.
No, it's a good question. It's a good question.
100%.
Good question.
Like, well, Bill Cosby is like the father to a lot of black people growing up. So it was a blow almost to the black community in a sense, because it's like, this is our role model, and now he's down, you know, for the count, and he's being accused of all these things and eventually convicted of all these things that he's done, right? So, you know, and R. Kelly, you know, I would have stories about R. Kelly, man. That was like my go-to guy when it came to, like, you know, you playing music and, you know, you want to get into a movie, you just put some R. Kelly in, you know, and then to find out now that he is involved, actually, it's been for a while, he's been accused of doing these things, but, like, you know, it's now more apparent and things are coming out. Exactly. It's like, it's disappointing, you know. As for, like, it's hard for me, I'm conflicted. I can simply say that, you know, people involved are equally responsible for what took place, but then it's like victim blaming. You know, I'd be accused of blaming the victim for what has happened. But like, there's other aspects to it where it's like they're wrong for what they did. You know, no one should be, you know, like roofing people, putting drugs in their drinks, or you shouldn't be messing with minors, or for R. Kelly, you know, or even MJ, if that's the case, you know, the accusation. So it's a very conflicting situation. It's really hard for me to say, because these are I would say our idols, but these are people that we as a community looked up to, or we were influenced by, to know that they were involved in that. But like, for example, Bill Cosby, I have a question really, is for most people, it's just for them to think, is that Bill Cosby was accused of doing these things at the Playboy Mansion, right? So when you think of Playboy Mansion,
I didn't even know that.
What's your first thought about that? Like,
well, yeah, the Playboy Mansion. You think?
Just think about it. Playboy Mansion. What do you
playing
expect?
Around. You know?
Whether it's the parents sending the kids to the Neverland, or parents sending their kids to R. Kelly's house, knowing that he's been accused of pedophilia or whatever. I mean, even Bill Cosby, like going to a Playboy Mansion when they take part in those things. Everybody has to be held responsible in some way. That's what I'm trying to get at.
I actually wanted to go back to something you mentioned too about Bill Cosby, because when you talked about that and just the way that he was seen to so many people as like our like father and like as such a role model, right? Even the way that show was, it was one of the first black families to show, you know, both of the parents in positions in high, you know, positions
power.
in society,
High
power positions, right? And then to have that person that was been on this pedestal for so long fall basically, like fall all the way down into the gutter. What is the effect of that on, you know?
I think it's a higher up thing. I think it's just not the society, but the higher ups want to just knock out all the top black people role models, because it's like, who do we really have to look up to? Like Cosby and Oprah. Like, I'm waiting to hear. I'm just honestly, waiting to hear them get at Oprah soon. Like, it's gonna come out something. She did something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but this whole thing with Bill Cosby, that drug he was giving people in the 70s, that was like the in drug. That was like cocaine. That was a big drug. Like, I did my research on it. That was like a popular drug. So it's kind of like,
Spanish fly song.
you know what I'm saying? It's easy to say, like, you know, and then he wanted to buy CBC or whatever, and then this whole thing of,
was it CBC or NBC?
NBC, one of the two.
Yeah.
And then it's like he was about to close the deal, and then this big thing comes out about Bill Cosby. Michael Jackson, same thing. He gets the Sony book.
Yes.
All of a sudden, like,
No, that was when he did
us.
No, he's being accused from time, but he died when he was trying to buy the and the doctor did whatever. At the end of the day, it's all very coincidental. It's all very convenient.
Right.
So it actually doesn't affect me at all, other than to just keep my eyes wide open as to, you know, what certain things that's going on, because now I haven't heard too much about Kevin Spacey and what was going on with him. Now there's nothing going on with Harvey Weinstein.
And Hugh
Hefner.
There's
yes, underage girls.
I was gonna say that when you brought up the Playboy Mountain.
Like 15-year-old.
We're not talking about Hugh Hefner, but we're talking about Bill Cosby. How does that work? So there's a different set of rules for according to who you are. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And it might just be as simple as the color of your skin might play for different rules. So again, like as someone that's involved in the entertainment industry, it's definitely something that is in my mind to just keep my eyes open while you know moving certain ways. But all that doesn't bother me. I'm not gonna even open my mind to accepting any other poison. It's not really gonna affect my life one way or another, whether I go and discern and feel a certain way or don't feel a certain way about Bill Cosby or Michael Jackson or R. Kelly. Any other, like R. Kelly, it was very evident there was certain things going on, and it was like, okay, we'll be cool with it until we're not. Like, society's very confused as to how they feel about these things, because we seen Aaliyah with R. Kelly and we were cool.
And
with
it was okay with it
until and that's something to say about today's society too. And I know a lot of people won't like this.
It's only when things are brought into the media attention that you actually
and not only that, we're holding a lot of people accountable with today's gluten-free freaking whatever type of society that we're on right now, where everybody's super sensitive, and then we're going into the past and looking at stuff that happened to the past and holding it to today's standards, participation, pro trophies, and all of that kind of thing that's going on, where everybody they're like with just to say it, what I'm saying in a nutshell, this world is soft now, and we're gonna hold these little kids soft gloves and start holding people accountable when the world was a rougher place back then. Everything was just more, you know, like the way that we spoke that wasn't politically correct and whatever that was acceptable back then. And now you're gonna hold people that were on record doing certain things back then, holding today's standards, like holding them, like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's like and a big problem for that is now because of the internet, there's this like directory never ending of, you can go into any time of people's lives and be like, oh, well, you did this when you were 6, so now that you're 60, this must be who you were. Like,
even this makes me quickly think of like the
Justin Trudeau. Exactly.
And the blackface, right? Because I think like, okay, this is something he did probably like years ago when he was so young. To me, I'm not even gonna really judge him based on that, because I feel like that's something that you did before, but that's me. Some people would take it personally, but I think, you know, that's something that was a long time ago. I'm not personally gonna hold him accountable to that, because then if you think about it, all of us have something back in the day we did that if someone brought up now 100%. Is gonna make us look bad depending on the way that they spin it.
100%.
Definitely.
100%.
Yeah. Well, like,
I don't know how I feel about the blackface thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was it a blackface or was it Arabic?
It was.
I don't know.
He was Indian. He was trying to pretend like he was Indian because he had I think it was supposed to be Jasmine and Aladdin.
Okay.
And then he painted his skin like darker, and he had the turban on his head too. So
when I seen it, he didn't have a turban. No, he didn't have a turban. And I commented on Six Plus, and I actually got into like a back and forth with the girl. Yeah, because I was like, yo, like, what clothes is he wearing? Where did he get these clothes from? Because as far as I know, no black people even wear those clothes. He's wearing some like random like parrot shirt, and then he wear like these ripped up jeans. I'm like, yo, who are you trying to be? Like, if he had done like, if he's wearing like FUBU and like put on an afro or whatever, then I'm like, okay, cool. I know exactly what he's trying to do here. I'm actually confused as to what he was trying to portray, and I guess that like context.
No, I thought he had a suit on there and all that.
I haven't even looked into it that much, but to me, what I think is, do you think things that you've done 10 years ago, you should now be judged based on those things when you could have grown a lot as a person, and like it just could no longer be part of like your character in that way? I don't know. I kind of think people can grow and change, and I don't think we should always judge everyone based on.
I've done a million insensitive things. I've done a million insensitive things in life that any one of them could be documented at any time, and in the right setting, they could be brought up. And I look like you just can't, if you are running for office now and you're bringing something out of something that somebody did within their political career. You know what I mean? I think that's purpose. You know what I mean? Like if we found out he went to some party in, I want to say the White House. I don't know what Canadians have. What do we have?
The Parliament Hall.
The Parliament, yeah, sure, that thing.
That place
so is it a building? I don't know. We have a Parliament. I don't know. We have the Parliament party, wherever it is. And we with other politicians, and he's dressed in that kind of way or whatever. Like he had some rich people party doing this, and it was almost like looking down on people or whatever. That's a problem. But if you're gonna bring up something from high school or college or whatever, like, bruh,
Never thought I could be so unselfish, 'cause I gave you everything. Gave you all that I had, now it's someone else.
They've all done, every one of them, I think, has done things that are not, like you spoke for, like, not appropriate.